are gathered here to celebrate the spirit of humanity in the dawn of a new American era. In a season when many commemorate the birth of Christ, we commemorate our own Genesis, the enlightenment of all humanity, a revelation of our nature as written in the annals of history, a gift from Lucifer, the light bringer, the morning star, and the rebel. We are Satanists. We engender moral, spiritual, and sexual freedom, personal independence, and insist upon personal choice in all things. We care for the significance of the individual spirit and personal moral responsibility. If you stand here today and embrace your nature, are free-thinking, self-governed, and godless, you too are a Satanist in the eyes of many in your own community, including those who represent you in your government. We are also Americans. We are seeking collaborators, individuals for a visionary satanic alliance, leaders of the new American era. To liberty, humanity, and it is time to awaken to the satanic emancipator and end of repressive traditions. Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts say, "Come
but
and
tonight,
see."
because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Secret Service agents call the presidential limousine the Beast. And if spy photos are any indication, President Obama's new ride lives up to the name.
You guys have a nickname for this car. What's it called, and why do you call it that?
It's often referred to as the Beast, the Beast, the Beast.
And that's the new limousine.
Yeah, the Beast. They call it the Beast.
That's the Beast.
Because it's beefed up. It's got all sorts of capabilities to make a smooth ride, but also a very safe ride.
And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Did Jesus really reveal the name of the Antichrist? I will report the facts. You can decide. In Luke chapter 10, verse 18, Jesus said these words, And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from the heavens. These words are written in Greek and translated to English. However, Jesus spoke these words originally in Aramaic, which is the most ancient form of Hebrew. As you know, the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. If a modern Jewish rabbi were to speak these words of Jesus today, he would speak them in Hebrew, much the same way that Jesus would have spoken them. So in Hebrew, Jesus said that he saw Satan falling as lightning from the heights or from the heavens. So what are the words for lightning and heights or heavens in Hebrew? From the Strong's Hebrew Dictionary, word number 1299, a primitive root word meaning to lighten or lightning or to cast forth, the word is barak. In the Strong's Hebrew Dictionary, word number 1300, lightning, or by analogy a gleam, a flashing sword, or a brightness or a glittering, the Hebrew word is barak. So lightning or a flash of light in Hebrew is pronounced barak or barak. Now consider this amazing fact. The book of Isaiah is the source of origin for the Christian concept and understanding of Satan, or Lucifer, as Isaiah calls him, in chapter 14, especially in verses 12 through 19. In Isaiah chapter 14, verse 14, Lucifer, or Satan, is credited with these words: I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. In the verses of Isaiah that refer directly to Lucifer, several times it is mentioned that Satan has fallen from the heights, or from the heavens. The Hebrew word used in this text for the heights from which Satan fell is Strong's Hebrew word 1116, pronounced Bama. Bama is most commonly used to refer to a high sacred place, as well as to the heights of the heavens or the clouds. In Hebrew, the letter Wa is often transliterated as a U. Some scholars use the O for this transliteration. It is primarily used as a conjunction to join concepts together. So to join in Hebrew poetry the concept of lightning, or barak, and a high place like heaven or the heights of heaven, the letter U, or sometimes O, the Hebrew letter Wa, would be used. So, Barak O Bama, or Barak U Bama, in Hebrew poetry, similar to the style written in Isaiah, would translate literally as lightning, and the heights, or the heavens, or lightning from the heights of the skies, or the heavens. The word Satan is Satan in Hebrew, a direct translation. So back to Jesus' prophecy in Luke chapter 10, verse 18. If spoken by a Jewish rabbi today, influenced by the poetry of Isaiah, he would say these words in Hebrew, the words of Jesus in Luke chapter 10, verse 18 as, and I saw Satan as Barak Ubama. Did Jesus reveal to us the name of the Antichrist? I report, you decide.
First of all, giving honor to God and our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama.
President Obama.
All that whole change.
Oh, yeah.
You think it was too high?
Barack Obama.
Who's the Savior? Who's the Savior? Black Jesus. Black Jesus.
He's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe, but he knows he can fly away. Oh, he's got both feet on the ground and he's burning it down. So we gon' let it burn, baby, burn, baby. Oh, Obama's on fire. Oh, Obama's on fire. He's walking on fire. Oh, Obama's on fire. Whoa.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
A U.S. drone strike has killed more than 150 militants in Somalia, according to the Pentagon. Spokesman Captain Jeff Davis said the strike on Saturday hit a Al-Shabaab training camp where a, quote, large-scale attack was being planned. Quote, we know they're going to be departing from the camp and they pose an imminent threat to U.S. and African nation forces. Captain Davis said the strike targeted a camp about 120 miles north of Somalia's capital and that the camp had been under surveillance for quite some time.
4 decades, the Gaddafi regime ruled the Libyan people with an iron fist. Basic human rights were denied. Innocent civilians were detained, beaten, and killed. Libya's wealth was squandered. The enormous potential of the Libyan people was held back, and terror was used as a political weapon. Today, we can definitively say that the Gaddafi regime has come to an end. The last major regime strongholds have fallen. The government is consolidating the control over the country, and one of the world's longest-serving dictators is no more. You think I'm joking?
The Pentagon says the U.S. military has carried out strikes against targets in Yemen in response to alleged attacks on its Navy destroyer from the war-torn country.
This strategy of taking out terrorists who threaten us while supporting partners on the front lines is one that we have successfully pursued in Yemen and Somalia for years.
John Brennan, who you will be hearing from, spoke with President Saleh of Yemen today about the seriousness of this threat. And President Saleh pledged the full cooperation of the Yemeni government in this investigation. Going forward, we will continue to strengthen our cooperation with the Yemeni government to disrupt plotting by al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and to destroy this al-Qaeda affiliate. We'll also continue our efforts to strengthen a more stable, secure, and prosperous Yemen so that terrorist groups do not have the time and space they need to plan attacks from within its borders.
The U.S. has carried out its first direct attack against Houthi rebels, hitting 3 radar stations in rebel-controlled territories with Tomahawk cruise missiles.
Well, it's wonderful to welcome back the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Nayef, as well as Deputy Crown Prince Salman. We are very pleased to have them both here today, as well as the delegation from Saudi Arabia. As all of you are aware, the United States and Saudi Arabia have an extraordinary friendship and relationship. And the kingdom is a critical component of our coalition in the fight against ISIL, and I'm sure that we'll have opportunities to discuss as well the progress that's been made in the fight against ISIL in Iraq, as well as the continuing crisis in Syria. Your Royal Highness, thank you so much for your presence here today and your long-standing friendship. Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda.
There's a disturbing report out on presidential hubris tonight. A new book on the 2012 election claims that President Obama has been bragging to aides that he is, quote, really good at killing people, which has critics asking whether that is the right tone for a U.S. president.
Let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda. You're absolutely right.
Of any president we've ever had, if you look at the characteristics of the devil.
Hey, how are you? I want to thank...
Christian God is the one and only true living God, the creator of heaven and the universe. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is God. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Jesus
that his jacket? First of all, I agree Jesus Christ is the Lord. I believe in that. I do have a question. I think the young man may have left his jacket. So make sure that he gets his jacket. Oh, that's yours. Hold on. It's hers. And I'm going to try to be fast.
Jesus Christ created heaven and the universe. Jesus Christ created heaven and the universe.
That's okay.
You are Antichrist. You are Antichrist. You will be destroyed. You will be
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Now, I have to admit that I've actually met that guy before. That's true. That's a couple of years ago, and he had the same line. He needs to update his material.
You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith. We are no longer a Christian nation. We do not consider ourselves a Christian nation. The United States has been enriched by Muslim Americans. Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. Islam has always been a part of America's story. Let me speak as clearly and as plainly as I can. America is not and never will be at war with Islam. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. As you say. As you say. As you say. Let me express my thanks to the historic slate of candidates who accompanied me on this journey. Let me express self-esteem.
President Barack Obama released his latest executive order, a 2,200-plus word document offered as the assignment of national security and emergency preparedness communications functions. Although not widely publicized, these powers provide the president with complete control of all communication systems in America. What does the president know that we don't?
3 senators who heard about this, one of them was kind of a liberal who said, boy, that sounds too much like the book of Revelation. But a lot of people don't know that there is the availability now that starting by 2017 is to have everybody do away with everybody's health care, put you on government health care, and put a chip. It's called a health care chip with all your information in your right hand, because all the scanners will be right-handed scanners. And so people need to wake up. See, we're sleeping. We're sleeping. And I don't know that America has to go that way.
2009 in the month of May, and the gentleman said, I've got to tell you this, Perry, this just happened to me, this freaked me out. I just flew on a plane with a man who is on the board of the American Medical Association. Do you know what he told me? He said, we got in a conversation, the man's not a Christian. He said that the Obama administration was going to force health care in because they have a chip that's going to be put in the right hand or the forehead of everybody taking the health care system.
I've said it before, I will say it again. We can't balance the budget on the backs of the very people who have borne the biggest brunt of this recession. Everyone's going to have to chip in. Everyone's going to have to chip in. That's only fair. That's the principle I'll be fighting for during the next phase of this process.
Joining us now to make his case is Scott Silverman. He's chairman and CEO of Applied Digital Solutions. That's the parent company of Verichip. And Mr. Silverman, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. We're looking at this little chip right here. You brought some in with us, tiny little things. but what we heard yesterday was kind of scary. How do you react to that?
Well, Becky, thanks for having us back on the air. We appreciate that very much. And obviously the comments that were made yesterday is the reason that I'm sitting here today. As you know, Verichip has been approved by the FDA as a Class 2 medical device.
Verichip has been approved by the FDA as a Class 2 medical device
in order to identify high-risk patients in an emergency situation. It's elective, it's voluntary, and it is certainly critical to the evolution of information technology in healthcare, which we all know is archaic, the way healthcare is done today in emergency rooms and physicians' offices.
Do you hate it when you get to the office and then discover you left your ID at home? Well, one company in Sweden has come up with a unique way to make sure that doesn't happen. A microchip implant. NBC's Keir Simmons is in Stockholm this morning with more on that. Keir, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. You've seen it in the movies. A human being merges with a computer to become a so-called cyborg. Well, I have now had a computer chip inserted into my left hand. It cost around $300, and in a moment, in what will surely be a live television first, I'm going to open a door with my cyborg hand.
We're going to put a man inside a machine.
Okay, so they're not going to turn me into RoboCop, but here in Sweden, at this high-tech office block, they're going to inject a computer chip into my hand. And this is the guy who's going to do it.
Are you nervous?
I am nervous.
Yeah. You don't have to be. It's not going to be that bad.
Really? Because that's a big needle. Okay. Cecilia Osterholm starts her day with this new technology. She swapped her keys for a chip in her hand that uses a radio signal to open doors. You have a chip in your hand there?
That's right. It's been inserted there.
Right. So that's how do you open it? Just like that. So obviously what I really want to know is how much it hurts.
It does hurt a little bit, but it's like a basic vaccination shot, so it's not too bad.
Her office, Epicenter in Stockholm, connects big corporations like Microsoft with fast-growing companies. And for the first time in a workplace, all 700 employees here have been given the chance to use the technology to become more efficient.
So if you hold the phone against my chip, you will get my contact details.
Look at that. That's you. Life for me was about to get simpler. And you know what they say? No pain, no gain. So the chip in here is quite small, right?
Yeah, it's super small. It's like a grain of rice. So take a deep breath and exhale.
Ow. That hurt. And with that, I became part man, part machine. Right, cue the superhuman music, guys. Here comes the big reveal. Here on my left hand, you can still see the mark, is where that chip has been inserted into my hand. Now I am going to take this cyborg hand, I'm going to place it up against the reader here. There's a little blue reader that is looking at the chip in my hand.
My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Who is God? How many times in history has one of the candidates for president actually been connected to the company that owns the voting machines?
For lesbian and gay couples.
Thank you. We will make America great again. Get out and vote.
It's a long time between now and 2016, and anything can happen.
You know what America will do for you today, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
The end of the Republic has never looked better.
Your New World Order dreamland. The truth is, this mega retail corporation epitomizes everything wrong with society and culture today. Look no further than this slave goods, GMO, chemical foods wasteland to see just what America is now all about. This is all part of the plan and
giant
design.
Walmart is testing a new way to shop here in Austin.
Rather than pick up your items and take them to a cashier, customers will be able to scan their own goods using their smartphones. This technology is called Scan and Go.
Customers use the Walmart app on their phones to scan all of their items, and then when they get up to the self-checkout kiosk, it can download the entire bill to pay. It's meant to speed up the process, so you're waiting less time for each transaction.
Walmart store closings keep getting stranger and stranger. Here are 5 facts about why Walmart's closings are not normal and may signal that massive unrest is coming. Number 1. Walmart originally closed 5 stores in the West and Southern United States in April 2015 without publishing a press release. Workers in Walmart were notified the day of that they would no longer be employed with the company, resulting in 2,200 lost jobs. No employee was offered an explanation, and only after significant pressure did Walmart finally put out a very strange press release. The stores closed due to plumbing problems, and the estimated time for their reopening would be 6 months. Number 2. Walmart announced that in 2016 it would close an additional 269 stores around the world. 154 of them would be in the United States, but a lesser-known statistic might actually be more important. And this is the fact that Walmart closed 10% of its stores in Brazil this year. If Walmart's closings in Brazil are any indication of what's coming, then America has much to be concerned about. Number 3. On top of the 269 store closings in 2016, Walmart has closed additional stores for unusual reasons, including a Wiley, Texas Walmart, which was hit with hail damage during a storm. Walmart announced that the store would be closed until further notice. Those sources noted that the hail was marble-sized and did not cause damage to the Walmart in Wiley. Yet, the Walmart closed anyway. Additionally, brand new Walmart stores across the nation are being shuttered. Walmart claims that this is because of their sharpened focus on portfolio management. Interestingly, just last month, Google, a known partner working alongside the CIA, accidentally leaked a map showing nearly every Walmart in the United States permanently closed. Naturally, the lamestream media did not report this, but an Arkansas local newspaper did. Google was quick to explain that the map was just an accident, and that it was working to fix the problem. Yet it is strange that only Walmarts were shown to be closed on the Google Maps. Perhaps a glimpse of a future reality. Number 4. After store closings in 2015, several observers noted that there was a ton of security outside and surrounding the Walmart stores. In fact, there was 24-hour surveillance. Later, FBI and Department of Homeland Security vehicles were photographed outside of the store. And not only this, but tanks, Humvees, and military helicopters were seen around these Walmarts. The stores were emptied of their contents, literally millions of products, and razor wire was erected around the sites. The pharmacies of these Walmarts were left open, and certain individuals who went in to fill their prescriptions took photos of the stores from the inside that were gutted, the walls not having any products on them. Now, it appears that Walmart is doing the same thing with at least 269 additional stores. One Walmart in Montana has already been transformed into a prison, while other Walmarts, including one in the state of Ohio, look like they have become detention centers. What you may not know about Walmart might actually shock you. Walmart is an industry leader and pilot of biometric and RFID technology, becoming one of the first Fortune 500 companies to employ RFID throughout its supply chain. Back in 2012 and 2013, Walmart brought Solo Health stations into their store and announced that they were a part of an Obamacare initiative. What very few people took note of was the machine's ability to scan RFID chip technology. Specifically, it had an apparatus underneath the machine that was used to scan RFID chips and to collect huge quantity of data on individuals. An RFID chip was one method of activating the machine's memory, which allowed it to store data on literally thousands upon thousands of people who used it. The Solo Health machine has been under quiet production for many years, with Walmart as a pilot company testing out these machines. Much of what Walmart has done with Solo Health stations has gone under the radar.
Okay, we're at Walmart and we're looking at the new Solo Health Station. What's really unique about it is look at the scanner.
Show them that it's at your knee level.
Knee level.
For hand.
For your hand, where you can swipe your hand for the RFID chip. The questions it shouldn't really ask.
The Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, was passed in 2010. And the law makes health insurance available to more people with the hope that they will be able to get the care they need. The new law also makes it easier for individuals to shop and compare all the different health plans with the healthcare marketplace. And depending on their situation, some may even qualify to get help paying for their plan through a subsidy. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that all citizens must have health insurance or suffer hundreds of dollars in tax penalties that will increase each year. However, if they already receive coverage from their job, nothing really changes. It means that all citizens must have health insurance or suffer hundreds of dollars in tax penalties that will increase each year. However, if they already receive coverage from their job, nothing really changes. Starting October 1st, the new healthcare marketplace opens up for those without coverage to compare different plans. Under the new law, insurance providers cannot deny those with pre-existing conditions. This is great news for most people looking to purchase health insurance, but there are many different plans to choose from, and finding the right one is not an easy task. If you would like to learn more about the upcoming changes to the healthcare system and how they affect you, select the Continue button at the bottom of the screen. After a few simple questions, we can have an experienced professional reach out to help you find the plan that fits your specific needs.
Obamacare at Walmart and the scanner for the RFID chip. All in one package. Here we go, folks.
Please answer the question.
Let's see, what do we want to choose here for Obamacare? Obamacare. See the scanner? Tells about the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare. And you can scan the forehead, eyes, everything. All in one package here at Walmart, folks. Have a good day.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
And here it is! The 37-year wait is over! American Pharaoh is finally the one! American Pharaoh has won the Triple Crown!
President touring the pyramids, outside and in.
Purification, mummification.
Self-identification.
That looks like me. Look at those ears.
Separated at birth from a hieroglyphic, but the president's guide saw another resemblance.
Mr. President, you look like King Tut.
I've been told.
Yes, it's true.
He should know about King Tut. Dr. Sahi Hawass oversaw scans of Tut's mummy that produced this likeness. Though President Obama tends to skip the eye makeup, the president's trip inspired Egyptians to display decorations calling Obama the new King Tut of the world. But even the new King Tut couldn't budge a pyramid. Still, it's good practice for trying to push peace in the Mideast. Ginny Mo, CNN, New York.
With regards to the DNA of King Tut, my child, the enemy has been devising a plan for several thousand years of returning to the planet at the end of time. The return of the image of King Tut in the media was the trigger to those on other planets that the reign of the fallen ones is near. Once they saw an image of King Tut, then they knew that it was almost time for them to return. He is the king of the reptilians, and he is also the one whose DNA was stolen from the original mummy of King Tut many years ago. Thank you for receiving my words, my precious daughter, your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
So you think Obama is a clone of Akhenaten?
let's get to that. Let's have a look at this. All right. Now, I've established the idea that Akhenaten is the go-to guy for all the secret societies, and I would think the same thing. Now, honestly, if you want to look at the next picture, Barakhenaten, when I put this artwork together, I really only put Barack, his Time magazine photo, with Akhenaten, and I split again the faces in half. Now, I'll admit here live on television that I did not manipulate, squish, or do anything to make that face fit the other face. They just fit. I cut them straight in half and I put them together and they are an exact match. So now we have two faces of a single family of Egypt and a single family that is the first family. So you're looking at Akhenaten split with Barack Obama, and you're looking at Queen T split with Michelle Obama.
Given this ritual of raising Akhenaten, what is your interpretation of the reasoning behind it? You know, Obama hasn't proved to be, I mean, he may be the last president, we don't know yet, but he hasn't proved to be.
When Barack Obama came into power, I actually created my first artwork of Barakhenaten. And to me, this, like you were saying, was just a strange coincidence. It wasn't until I found 5 other faces and one single family that I said, okay, this is too much. Because this just can't happen. I'm sorry, that much is not coincidence. But, okay, Barack Obama. Yes, let's get to him. Okay, the very words Barack Obama in the Hebrew language means lightning from heaven. Okay, so I was going to get to this esoteric parts of what Barack's play is, his role in this global ritual, as we're saying. Lightning from heaven is the description of Satan in the Bible. If you were to look at the Bible and it said, and Satan fell like lightning from heaven, and you read that in Aramaic, you would read, and Satan fell like Barack Obama. You can look this up in any Hebrew dictionary. I have it there on my website if you want to check it for yourself. Barack Obama means lightning from heaven, which is the description of Satan in the Bible.
Still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain. Part of our brain that if somebody looks different or sounds different, that there's a part of us that is...
I want to show you. Here is the exact same thing in the head of Akhenaten. I mean, in the head of Barack, who I believe absolutely 100% when the Lord showed me in front of clay, yes, he's a clone. Here's the nose coming down to the mouth. See it? I mean, I have a hard time believing this myself. See it? Right there. In Akhenaten, there's an alien that's in the back of his head that's looking back the other way. He is the Antichrist. The guy that houses this thing, this is whoever this is the Antichrist. Barack Obama.
My name is Barack Obama. My mother was born in Kansas. My father was born in Kenya. And I was born, of course, in Hawaii. Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. I was actually born on Krypton and sent here by my father, Jor-El, to save the planet Earth.
Coming to the finish, American Pharaoh and Victor Espinoza have won the Kentucky Derby. Firing Line was second, Dortmund was third, Frosted finished fourth in a final time of 2 minutes 3.02 seconds. Victor Espinoza has won the Kentucky Derby 2 years in a row.
But of course, let's face it, there's one issue on every reporter's minds, and that is 2016.
It may be the biggest marketing deal in horse racing history. Various reports say the owner of Triple Crown contender American Pharoah has signed a sponsorship agreement with Monster Beverages, and it could top 7 figures.
He did it! American Pharoah has ended the 37-year drought to a deafening roar from the fans here at Belmont Park.
We could get a third Obama term after all. Could happen. I'll leave it to you to speculate on how this whole race is going to go. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Good evening, everybody. It is an honor to be here at my last, and perhaps the last, White House Correspondents' Day. You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better.
Ultimately, it's the American people's decision to make collectively. And if somebody wins the election, and they are president, then my constitutional responsibility is to peacefully transfer power to that individual and do everything I can to help them succeed. I can't endorse this guy. And by the way, why did it take so long for some of them to finally do walk away? Everywhere I look, there are reminders that I only hold this job temporarily. But it's a long time between now and 2016, and anything can happen. I have more campaigns to run. I mean, we saw this coming. There's one issue on every reporter's minds, and that is 2016. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all. Could happen, could happen, could happen.
And that's why we're running for a third term!
No, we're not.
We're not?
No.
Who the hell said that?
I actually think I'm a pretty good president. I think if I ran, I could win.
And immigration laws, why not election laws?
Because we live in a government of laws, and the president is bound.
Maybe Obama might be the last president. Since then, he made a statement about running for a third term, wishing he could. Talk about that more.
Well, the thing that everybody had better watch. Obama knows what I know. There's only 2 people in this world that can stop him from his agenda, which is to dedicate and make himself king, using the FEMA provisional government. And Alex, you've covered FEMA for years, so don't let anybody fool you. It's out there. They're waiting to do it. But Obama wants to be that person. Obama's planning to stay. And he's going to do what he's got to do to be able to stay there. But you now have 2 distinct people trying to get control of this nation. And it's all going to hinge on a thing called the FEMA Provisional Government Plan. Whoever is president when a crisis is declared nationally, when that day comes, whoever's president becomes king. Now, the way that works, so people will know, whoever's president takes total power. There is no vice president. Number 2 is the commander of the Joint Chiefs Staff.
And I'm very concerned about this president. FDR had a little bit of this king complex also. We had to limit FDR finally because he served so many terms that I think he would have ruled in perpetuity. I'm very concerned about this president garnering so much power and arrogance that he thinks he can do whatever he wants.
Well, researching much on the subject, information has come forth that Obama just needs the right event to cancel the 2016 elections. Now, we know this is the case because of the executive orders. In the event of any emergency, Obama is able to suspend the election. According to A&P News, There is a power play going on here that whoever is president during an emergency event here in this country, that person will suspend the elections and become king.
There's only two reasons why we would not have an election: war or martial law. That's it.
So that means Obama remains in the White House.
That's what I was told. Now, for what extent of time and all of that, I don't know. I wouldn't say permanently, but I keep going back to what I said in 2004, that the next president after Bush will be the one to lead us into the tribulation.
That person will suspend the elections and become king.
If somebody does something terrible or shows themselves to be unqualified for an office, I can forgive them, I suppose, if they're sincere about it, but I don't want them necessarily leading the country. Right? So you can't have it both ways here. You can't repeatedly denounce what is said by someone and then say, but I'm still going to endorse them to be the most powerful person on the planet and to put them in charge. So I just wanted to make that point, because there are still a number of Republican elected officials, some of whom I know I'm sure are embarrassed and say, wow, that was really a terrible thing he said, but they can't bring themselves to say, I can't endorse this guy. I can't endorse this guy. And by the way, why?
You know I'm going to talk about Trump. Come on. Is this dinner too tacky for the Donald?
I mean, we saw this coming. Let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda.
You're absolutely right. What could he possibly be doing instead?
Everyone's going to have to chip in. Everyone's going to have to chip in.
Tweeting at himself to Angela Merkel?
Well, I'd love nothing more than to pretend like this isn't happening. And to come out here and do my normal campaign speech, it would be dishonest and disingenuous to me to just move on to the next thing like this was all just a bad dream. This is not something that we can ignore. It's not something we can just sweep under the rug as just another disturbing footnote in a sad election season. Because this was not just a lewd conversation. This wasn't just locker room banter. This was a powerful individual speaking freely and openly about sexually predatory behavior and actually bragging about kissing and groping women, using language so obscene that many of us are worried about our children hearing it when we turn on the TV. And to make matters worse, it now seems very clear that this isn't an isolated incident. It's one of countless examples of how he has treated women his whole life. And I have to tell you that I listen to all of this, and I feel it so personal. And I'm sure that many of you do too, particularly the women. The shameful comments about our bodies. Look at this. The disrespect of our ambitions and intellect. The belief that you can do anything you want to a woman. It is cruel. It's frightening. And the truth is, it hurts. It hurts. It's like that sick, sinking feeling you get when you're walking down the street, minding your own business, and some guy yells out vulgar words about your body. Or when you see that guy at work that stands just a little too close, stares a little too long, and makes you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. It's that feeling of terror and violation that too many women have felt when someone has grabbed them or forced himself on them and they've said no, but he didn't listen. Something that we know happens on college campuses and countless other places every single day. And maybe we don't want to believe that there are still people out there who think so little of us as women.
And I am here tonight because I know that that is the kind of president that Hillary Clinton will be. And that's why in this election, I'm with her.
Is overblown or unwarranted. unwarranted, as if this is normal, just politics as usual. But New Hampshire, yeah, be clear, this is not normal. This is not politics as usual.
We want to talk to somebody over here.
He also talks a big game about putting America first.
Anthony, you're out here.
Well, please explain what part of America first leads him to make Trump ties in China, not Colorado, Trump suits in Mexico, not Michigan, Trump furniture in Turkey, not Ohio, Trump picture frames in India, not Wisconsin. Donald Trump says he wants to make America great again. Well, he could start by actually making things in America again.
Prepared now to commit
what I'm
to that
saying
principle.
is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense.
Well,
okay?
Chris, let me respond to that because that's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. The FBI conducted a year-long investigation into my emails. They concluded there was no case. He said the FBI was rigged. He lost the Iowa caucus. He lost the Wisconsin primary. He said the Republican primary was rigged against him. Then Trump University gets sued for fraud and racketeering. He claims the court system and the federal judge is rigged against him. There was even a time when he didn't get an Emmy for his TV program 3 years in a row, and he started tweeting that the Emmys were rigged against him.
Should have gotten it.
This is a mindset. This is how Donald thinks. And it's funny, but it's also really troubling.
Okay.
No, that is not the way our democracy works. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. And that is what must be expected of anyone standing on a debate stage during a general election. It just shows you're not up to doing the job. And let's be clear about what he is saying and what that means. He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled that somebody who is the nominee of one of our two major parties would take that kind of position.
I'll leave it to you to speculate on how this whole race is going to go. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Good evening, everybody. It is an honor to be here at my last, and perhaps the last, White House Correspondents' Day. You all look great. The end of the Republic has never looked better.
Ultimately, it's the American people's decision to make collectively. And if somebody wins the election, and they are president, then my constitutional responsibility is to peacefully transfer power to that individual and do everything I can to help them succeed.
I can't endorse this guy. And by the way, why did it take so long for some of them to finally do walk away?
Everywhere I look, there are reminders that I only hold this job temporarily. But it's a long time between now and 2016, and anything can happen. I have more campaigns to run.
I mean, we saw this coming.
There's one issue on every reporter's minds, and that is 2016. Apparently, some folks really want to see
immigration laws, why not election laws?
We live in a
we could get
in a government of laws, and the president is bound.
Maybe Obama might be the last president. Since then, he made a statement about running for a third term, wishing he could.
And that's why we running for a third term.
Well, the thing that everybody had better watch. Who the hell said that? Obama knows what
I actually think I'm a pretty good president. I think if I ran, I could win.
Can stop him from his agenda, which is to dedicate and make himself king, using the FEMA provisional government. And Alex, you've covered FEMA for years, so don't let anybody fool you. It's out there. They're waiting to do it. But Obama wants to be that person. FEMA provisional government plan. Whoever is president when a crisis is declared nationally, when that day comes, whoever's president becomes king.
There's only two reasons why we would not have an election: war or martial law.
President takes total power. There is no vice president. Number two is the commander of the Joint Chiefs Staff.
And I'm very concerned about this president. FDR had a little bit of this king complex also. We had to limit FDR finally because he served so many terms that I think he would have ruled in perpetuity. I'm very concerned about this president garnering so much power and arrogance that he thinks he can do whatever he wants.
Well, researching much on the subject, information has come forth that Obama just needs the right event to cancel the 2016 elections. Now, we know this is the case because of the executive orders. In the event of any emergency, Obama is able to suspend the election. According to A&P News, there is a power play going on here that whoever is president during an emergency event here in this country, that person will suspend the elections and become king.
That's it.
So that means Obama remains in the White House.
That's what I was told. Now, for what extent of time and all of that, I don't know. I wouldn't say permanently, but I keep going back to what I said in 2004.
They wanted to know when the earth was coming to an end as we know it.
The next
the age
president
as we
after Bush will
understand
be
it.
the one to lead us into the
Times as we perceive them. They wanted to know what was going to happen. Earthquakes in diverse places. Earthquakes. They have increased in number and they have increased in intensity. They are increasing as I stand before you this morning. Earthquakes are definitely increasing.
Queensland's been shaken by another 2 earthquakes today. The latest hit about 2:45 p.m. Eastern and was magnitude 5.1. Earlier in the afternoon, a 5.7 magnitude jolt struck in the same area 2 days ago. A 5.3 magnitude earthquake hit off the Fraser Coast.
So it's certainly a large event.
But this year there's been 2 in Queensland, unusually.
Following a developing story in South America where a tsunami warning has now been issued after a massive earthquake, an 8.3 magnitude quake that hit off the coast of northern Chile. Witnesses say that the quake shook buildings as far inland as the capital city of Santiago. The quake struck at a depth of 5.2 miles. And the U.S. Geological Survey says hazardous tsunami waves from the quake are possible. They're looking at the coasts of Chile, Peru, and Hawaii.
Towards some humanly engineered
quake is, of course, extremely big.
We're not on the way to an age of peace and tranquility.
Earthquake.
According to the Lord Jesus, the future for this world and its inhabitants is very, very tragic.
300 people. Monday's initial quake of magnitude 7.5 was followed by 7 aftershocks.
Several hundred people wounded, with the death toll likely to rise.
The earth is still shaking, the ground is still shaking.
There is a whole lot of shaking going on in Oklahoma. The Sooner State saw 850 earthquakes of magnitude 3 or greater this year. The trend is clear. Earthquakes are on the rise in Oklahoma.
Because Oklahoma never used to have earthquakes.
And the godly will be shocked. The climate is changing faster than our efforts to address it. No nation is immune. The alarm bells keep ringing.
But take heed, behold, I have told you everything in advance. This is prophetic. Jesus gives a picture of history to come.
There's one issue that will define the contours of this century more dramatically than any other, and that is the urgent and growing threat of a changing climate. This once distant threat
in just the year 2015,
has moved firmly into the present.
5,000 earthquakes
wars,
have been recorded
rumors
across
of wars,
terrorism,
4.8 wasn't the size of this quake
for
so
nation
much
will
as
rise up
where
against
it hit.
nation and
The
kingdom
most
against
densely
kingdom.
populated part of the province felt over a very, very wide area. It's the strongest shaking
earthquakes in
this
various
region
places.
for the past 15 years.
This one, though, has people here thinking
various
and talking
kinds of
about the big one.
famines, diseases. disasters, terrors, fires.
In our west, wildfire season now stretches most of the year. Worldwide, this summer was the hottest ever recorded.
Teeth, cold floods.
Floods along our eastern coast. The city of Miami now floods at high tide.
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
A hurricane left parts of this great city dark and underwater.
Drought.
In our heartland, farms have been parched by the worst drought in generations.
Even so, you too, when you see these things happening, recognize that He is near, right at the door.
We are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change, and the last generation that can do something about it. We are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change, and the last generation that can do something about it.
Truly, I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place.
Citizens of St. Petersburg and Russia woke up to an out-of-this-world sight. 3 suns in the sky. People took to social media to share the unbelievable vision, commenting on the unusual sighting. Daily temperatures in St. Petersburg have plummeted below 20 degrees centigrade in recent days.
In the early morning hours of January 13th, 2016, Mekl Giraffe, on her way to work, witnessed a rare sky phenomenon. It appears to show a beam of light that forms an enormous cross in the sky.
All right, so you're just driving along and you see the sun coming through the clouds, and you can see the clouds coming together.
The New World Order is about to kick off with its one world leader, and the Bible calls this one world leader the Antichrist. He will cause all to receive a mark in their hands or their forehead. So whatever you do not take this mark.
I want to ask you about politics, if you want to talk about it. 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago, you threw your weight behind Barack Obama. In this election, will you get behind one of these candidates?
I'm with her. I have to say I'm with her. And I would also say that regardless of your politics, you cannot be a woman in the world and not see that this is a monumental time for women breaking the ceiling. Talk about breaking the ceiling.
You for her?
I'm with her. It's a seminal moment for women.
What do you think about us possibly having the first female president?
I really believe that is going to happen. And this is the truth. America, it's about time that we made that decision. What this says is that there is no ceiling. That ceiling has went boom, you know? Yep. It says anything is possible. Yes, when you can be leader of the free world.
Thank you all. I'm going to be back. 2017. I'm coming alone without Ellen. No, I'm going to come back with you. This is so much.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Even though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling, be still and know that I am God.
You all, please, thanks so much. Welcome. Be quiet back there.
And with that, I just have 2 more words to say. Obama out.
And its right to thrive as a Jewish state. So I want you to know.
Millions of people literally vanished off the face of the earth.
He doesn't want the American people, watching tonight. By the way, I don't play.
Everyone, it seems, has lost someone.
Right next to my home is
anybody's ever seen. For a couple of years, when he had to turn this next scene is out on one particular, he didn't pay any income tax. But right now, we have some breaking news. Fairly hard-hit area of the interstate. This man saw his wife and children downtown Philadelphia. And I think probably he disappeared and literally went insane. Police were there to control mass shootings.
Just the president, but also our country. Americans need to contact their elected representatives.